welcome to today's edition of Pegasus Test. On today's edition, we're covering the Radar 75 holster for the Browning High Power. So recently, my Sportsman's Guide catalog came in, and as I'm flipping through, deciding what items in there I absolutely cannot live without, I come across this holster right here. And at first I thought it was your typical Safariland 6004 series holster, by the looks of it. And it was advertised as being genuine issue, police issue for the Belgian police for the what they call the Grand Power, or we know it as the Browning High Power. And this attracted my attention because the only holsters I had for my high powers were either USM 12s, an excellent holster, or I had attempted to use various Serpas in the 1911 style, figuring both pistols are the same, and they're not. So that was a bad choice. So I was rather limited in what holsters I had available because a Browning High Power is no longer a preeminent firearm in the choice of people today. It's a classic and it'll always be around. The surplus of them is starting to dry up. FN has stopped manufacturing them as of last year. So they're not as a primary firearm as they used to be. Therefore, accessory makers are no longer making for them in the way that they used to. In the late 1990s, early 2000s, yeah, you looked on anybody's catalogs, Fireline, Blackhawk, whoever, they were making lots of stuff for the high power. And in the last dozen years or so, those are all faded from their mainline entries. So if you're loving your Browning High Power, and you really should because it's an awesome pistol, your holster options are somewhat limited. So this obviously attracted my attention and I ordered it. So let's look at the details of it close up. Okay, the first thing you'll notice about this holster is while it looks very much like a Fireland 6004 series, it's made by Radar 75 out of Italy. So it's a straight up clone. The second thing you notice is clearly contoured towards the Browning High Power style pistol, as you can see by the contours that are molded into the body. And that the retention system is by a bail that covers the top of the pistol and prevents its extraction. Okay, the operation of the bail is simple. You reach in, press down and forward, and that allows you to extract the pistol. Now, that is your only retention system. Unlike some modern systems like the ALS, the Blackhawk Serpas that have level 2, level 3 retention and other types of holsters, the bail is the only retention system on this holster, and it's the only thing holding it in. Go vertical, it falls out. So if you leave the bail undone and you go running around, you can see right there the pistol's going to work its way out and you're going to lose control of your pistol, which is bad. Now you can see the bail actually does retain the pistol. Doesn't allow me to pull it out. I can turn it upside down, shake it all I want. It's not coming out. Only works when the bail's in place. Push the bail forward, pistol comes right out. Gravity makes the pistol come right out. So this is your only retention system, and it's something that you should be aware of. As for security of the holster, you can hear it rattling around a bit. But as long as the bail's in place, the pistol will stay in. Now, on the back side of the holster, how it retains to your belt is through this big, huge slot. And although it's difficult to see here on the camera, you have this piece right here, which is also designed if you have a thinner, smaller belt that you can slide into the big, work it through here, and it has sharp edges that'll grab onto your belt, and then slide it out through the other side to lock it in place on your hip in the position you want it, depending on your belt size. Okay, you can see with this, looking from the forward part of the holster, that the attachment point on the belt mounting loop is down near the muzzle of the pistol. And that's because right here the bail mechanism is taking up the space normally in the normal mounting position. So looks like it would not be as sturdy, but it's actually very sturdy. It's rock solid and it works out pretty good. Despite what some pundits on the internet may tell you, you have to train with this piece of gear. Yes, holsters should be somewhat intuitive, but you do have to train with them because they all operate a little bit differently. If you are used to using, say, an ALS type holster, or if you're used to using an Epoch from Blackhawk or a Serpa, that's a different system than this, the old 6004 system that this Radar 75 clearly copies. You have to practice with it before you go out and use this in an active environment. It does work differently. Motion is down and forward. If you practice enough, as you can just see, it went off very quickly. You also have to get in the habit of re-engaging the bail. If you're using, say, an ALS or a Serpa type, you know the moment you do this, it's locked in just by putting it in the holster. If I don't engage this bail, this pistol's not secure, so I can just lift it out without touching anything. You have to remember that's part of your process now. It works differently and you have to train yourself. So to get it out, it's down and forward, remove the pistol, holster, re-engage bail. And here's a side view of the holster, down and forward. Here's a side view of the holster, grab a grip, down and forward, extract your pistol, reholstering into the holster, re-engage bail. You have to always re-engage that bail after you reholster, because if you don't, you leave it forward like you can do with some level 3 holsters. When you put this back in the holster, it's free to come out. It'll bounce out if you're doing active movement. If you get in a tussle with somebody, they can grab your gun very easily. There'll be no resistance. So remember, part of your training, re-engage the bail after reholstering. All right, this is the clone. It's a straight up copy of the old 6004 series from Safariland. Is it a good holster? Yeah, the 6004 made a great reputation, and this is a pretty dang good copy. I think if you're running a Browning high power, this is going to give you years of service. It'll stand up to some abuse, and for the price that you're getting at, I got this right around the $30 mark from Sportsman's Guide. It's kind of hard to argue with, even if your hard training causes this thing to fail. It's affordably able to be replaced. We hope you found this edition of Pegasus Test helpful and informative. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and tune in for future holster tests.